Hey guys, this video we are going to complete a table using an equation. So last video we covered that a linear relationship basically describes a pattern between two variables and the rate of change is constant. The two variables were x and y, or if we're doing speed, distance and time, and the gradient is the rate of change, which is the same as speed. Now the rate of change doesn't change, so every hour we went up by 60 kilometers. We're also going to focus on this equation, y equals mx plus c. Now let's start off by doing this table. D equals 60t. So that's pretty much the speed, distance, time equation that we did last week. So when we do this, 60t is the same as 60 times t. And this row describes t. So that means here we're doing 60 times 0, which equals 0. Then we're going to do 60 times 1, which is 60, 120, 180, and so on. Y equals 2x. Now we've changed distance and time to y and x. Y equals 2 times negative 2, which becomes negative 4. 2 times negative 1, negative 2, then 0, 0, and so on. Once you get the hang of this, you actually start to see a pattern. Negative 4 times 0 is 0. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. If you keep doing the same thing, if you can see the pattern, you can use the pattern to complete the table. These ones are a bit different because they have an extra element to them, extra term. But we do it the same way. 5 times 0 minus 3 is going to be minus 3. 5 times 1 is going to be 2 after you minus 3. 5 times 2 is 10, minus 3 is 7, and so on. This one doesn't really matter which way comes first. 10 minus 2 times minus 2, which ends up being plus. You can use your calculator, so it doesn't really matter. So we're going back to the earlier statement, and we're going to focus on the rate of change. Now the change is constant, which is the gradient. When I say the change is constant, it keeps going up by 60, or it keeps it going up by 2. And the equation of the relationship is y equals mx plus c. Now, I'll show you here what the gradient does. So this is a table already completed. See how it says 60t? That means every step it goes up by 60. If the number attached to the x is 2, that means every step it's going up by plus 2. Now this one is a minus. That means every step it's actually going down by 4. So minus 4 going down by 4. Same with the minus 2, minus 2, minus 2. So the 5 goes up by 5. And we always look at the number in front of the x. So don't look at the 10, look at the minus 2. And it goes down by 2 each step. So guys, the gradient describes the rate of change, and in linear relationships, the rate of change is always constant. Now the second part of the equation, which is plus c is a constant term and is the starting value. When I say the starting value, it means what y equals when x equals 0. So we always start at 0. So for example here, d equals 60t is the same as 60t plus 0. If you add all, subtract 0, it's the same thing. And we can see here, at 0 is 0. Y equals 2x. That's the same as plus 0. And we're going to look at the 0 here. Equals 0. Now this is where it's a bit different. We have minus 3 and 10. Don't forget, C doesn't have any letters. So when x equals 0, it equals minus 3. Have a look at where x equals 0, not the start of the table, but where it equals 0, it equals 10. So we can actually use this information to complete the table a lot quicker. So a quick summary. Gradient describes the rate of change, how much it's going up and down by every step. C describes the constant term, so it's the number without any letters, and it describes the starting point when x equals 0. Let's do some examples. So first one, we need to complete the table using the formula, and the formula is y equals x minus 1. So the first one, we're going to use 3, y equals 3 minus 1 equals 2. Then we're going to do 7 minus 1, which equals 6. Negative 1 minus 1, which equals negative 2. And so on. Question B, Q equals 3P. Now the letters here can be anything. It can be X and Y, it can be A and B, or whichever. So first one, Q equals 3 times 8, because we're substituting the P for the number, which is 24. 3 times negative 3, which is negative 9. 3 times 2, which is 6. Now for these lot of questions, we can see that the numbers go in a row. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Then we can use the patterns. The first one's really easy because y equals x. So if x equals 0, y would equal 0. If x equaled 1, y would equal 1. This one, we know what the starting point would be. If it doesn't have a constant term, it's 0. The gradient is 2, so it's going to go up by 2 each step. So 2, 4, 6, and of course if we're going the opposite way, we're going down, minus 2.